It's the use of AI language models, so with AI-powered websites becoming part of daily life for millions around the world, some in Africa are concerned that citizens are being excluded from Western-focused software. Efforts are now being made in South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria to create more AI products in African languages. The use of AI is penetrating even villages, where farmers are even incorporating ChatGPTs in translating some of the language modules.
Because I think farming is a lifelong learning experience. You hit a lot of challenges. You can see my cabbages, they're like opening, so I can go into AI and ask that my cabbages are opening, what that is. Or I think for somebody in the rural areas like me who is not exposed to technology or anything, you can ask in a simple language.
There are already small examples of how indigenous languages used in AI can be used to solve real-life challenges in Africa, according to Professor Marivet.
Add their own innovations in those spaces, but we will provide some benchmark to say, here's isiNdebele, for example, here's a new data set of audio with transcript for isiNdebele, a language that in South Africa typically is one of the lowest resourced in those spaces.
Researchers have recorded more than 9,000 hours
that are providing essential products and services.
But as many African languages are mostly spoken rather than written down, there is a lack of text to train AI on to make it useful for speakers of those languages.
Hello, my people. As you see in that short video clip, that artificial intelligence like ChatGPT and others, that they cannot access most of our native African languages. And I have a little bit of disagreement with the analyst in that short clip, that they say that because most of the why this is so, one of the reasons why we don't have this artificial intelligence cannot access our languages, languages, is because we spoke most of our native languages in Africa. We just spoke it, we don't write it. I think the problem is deeper than that, because in Africa, I think most of the languages, they can be written, and some literatures are being written in native African language. But the problem we have is, like, when you look at most of African countries, we are colonized by the West, and the French speaking, the Francophone or Anglophone, where the English speaking. And if you go to a Francophone country, you know that their lingua franca, like their main language, would be like French. That has to be the common language, even though they have native language. And the ChatGPT can do something on French, because it's a Western country, But these people, they don't bother to do anything about their local language. I think that's one of the main reasons. And it's the same thing in Anglophone, where this English is the main language people speak. Because in Africa, when the colonial masters, when they went to Africa, Africa is so diverse because we have different tribes, different languages. You know what I mean? And they make it, they bring all these tribes, different languages together, and they know that once they do this, people don't bother to learn all these languages. Too many of them for somebody in any part of Africa to learn all these languages. So when everybody learns like English becomes common language, and people use it often more than even they speak to their own native language. Because if you go to African countries, that like this Anglophone I mentioned, you see that the government stuff they do in their government papers or anything they do in government is in English. None of them will do it in native language. None. The same thing in French speaking. In Francophones, everything they will do is in French. Even some of the French speaking will just switch, instead of switching to their local native language, they will switch to English, start using English and dump French, you know what I mean? So for it's gonna be very difficult for this kind of stuff to, all these languages, in Africa to be, easily accessible. But the goal should be like the major ones, people like, if a tribe like have maybe 20 million people population, and they have common language, they can make sure that those that have opportunity, they can put this, make it available so that this online AI, artificial intelligence, can access these languages. And because Africa have many, diverse languages. That is not like the West where you have countries they have common language. They don't have this tribal stuff. Africa just kind of, is kind of. As the commentator said, it's more, even the languages in Africa will be more, half of the languages in the whole world. You know what I mean? Just Africa alone. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our video. Peace.